You've heard it said that our biggest fear isn't actually the fear of failure, that our biggest fear is the fear of success. But I say that neither of those are true. In fact, I think our biggest fear is looking stupid. But before we get into that, if you're looking for some clarity or direction on your situation or just another brother to hold space for you while you work through your situation and come up with real solutions, book a call with your old Uncle Elliot by clicking the link down below. Mano y mano will speak it through, dude. Cool? So here we go. We got a question. Yo, Elliot, I feel like I was meant for something greater, but I always wait for the right time to take action. It says I have ideas, dreams, and things I want to create, but every time I think about starting, I get overwhelmed, distracted, or doubt myself. I look at other men who are doing what I wish I had the courage to do, and it eats me up on the inside. How do I break free from this cycle of hesitation, finally step into the life that I know I'm meant to live, dude? Cool. So like you heard me say in the beginning, a lot of times people say that you're not doing it because you're afraid you're going to fail. And that might be true to an extent. And then you have those other so-called clever people who say shit like you're afraid to succeed. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would anybody be afraid to succeed? You're afraid of your own power. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. But I know that if you're anything like me, you're actually afraid to be seen. Right? Like you're afraid to look stupid. Like what if you do decide to do the thing that you're called to do and your friends see you and they make fun of you? Or what if it doesn't work out the way that you want it to work out and people laugh at you? What if your friends and family don't believe in you, right? Like I think that a big part of the reason why we don't do the things that we're called to do is because we're afraid to look like a fool. And so you have all these plans, you have all these ideas, you have all this aspiration to make big things happen, but then the distraction comes in. And the distraction, most of the time, the distraction is just a way for you to create excuses for not doing that thing out of the fear of looking stupid. Our biggest fear actually isn't falling on our face. Our biggest fear is falling on our face in front of other people. That's why like one of the most anxiety creating dreams that people have, like recurring dreams that like everybody must have had at some point in their life, is to be standing in front of a crowd and like forgetting what to say, right? Like that's where people are mostly afraid. People are afraid of public speaking. People are afraid of failing in front of other people's faces. People are afraid, like I've had dreams before where I was like naked, right? Like, oh shit, like more when I was a kid, I remember. I haven't had that in a while, but I remember like being in high school and stuff and like having dreams like I just didn't have on clothes and everybody saw me and like I'm trying to figure out like how I can cover myself up. Afraid of being seen. That's really what it is. Most of us are afraid of being seen, and it has a lot to do with low self-esteem. Here's another way to look at it, bro, or a way to reframe the whole situation. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Anything worth doing is worth screwing up. And that's kind of like a mantra that I've lived by for quite some time because I screw up quite a bit. And if I needed to be successful and I needed to get it right every time I did something, I would never get anything done. I would never try anything. I would never start anything. I'm a bad planner. I usually just jump into things and screw it up at first, but what it does is it creates momentum, dude. What you actually need is momentum. Like, think about like AI, right? Like AI, everybody's like enthralled with AI and how intelligent AI is, but AI is only as intelligent as you give it space to become. Like right now I'm training a GPT, right? A chat GPT, custom made chat GPT, right? And the GPT, I asked it, I said, chat GPT, how do I train you to do this thing for me? And it says, well, just keep giving me inputs and I'll spit something out and then try it again and we'll refine as we go along. The ChatGPT is AI, so it's not worried about getting it wrong. It's not saying, oh man, like imagine like I hired an employee to do what I want my GPT to do. It would be like, oh, afraid to look bad, afraid that Elliot won't like them, afraid that Elliot might fire them for not getting it right at first. But the AI, which in often cases is more intelligent than we are, just recognizes that like, oh dude, I'm probably not gonna get it right first. But it has no feelings about it. So you got to get over the fact that number one, you're going to fail. Like make that a part of the project. Make that a part of your mindset. Like, I'm not going to get it right first. Even AI doesn't get it right first, right? And it has no emotions. It's just a robot, right? If the robot's gonna get it wrong first, and like we glorify these like Dr. Spock types that like are totally logical and have no emotion, but even like the logic says I'm not gonna get it right first. So just be fucking logical with yourself. I'm not gonna get it right first. It's better to get it going first and then iterate as I go along, like I am a ChatGPT robot, right? But then the other part is emotional, right? So logic, right? Logic, just get it going. You'll figure it out as you go along. But if nobody was watching you, you'd probably do that. You probably would do that. If nobody was watching you, you had no friends or family or anybody to look at you, point at you, ask you questions, or doubt you, you would just get going with the thing and you would fail and you wouldn't care because there's nobody around, right? What would you do if nobody was around? That's a really good question to ask ourselves in many regards, right? Like we often use that question in terms of like if doing bad things, like would you steal that if nobody was around? Would you do that? Would you touch that? Would you play with that thing if nobody was around, right? Would you take that if nobody was around? But like, what about the great things, the good things, right? Our fear of success really is a fear of being seen. Being seen. So how do you get over the fear of actually being seen? That's really what it is, man. Well, one way is to recognize that everybody is afraid to be seen, and everybody has their own shadows, and everybody has their own nasty little secrets and things that they wish nobody would know. And the people who point their fingers and laugh are the ones that have the most skeletons in their closet. They have the most shame. So anybody who, and this is being logical, anybody who is going to give you a hard time are going to be the people that really don't matter. They say that the people who care, or the people who matter don't care, and the people who don't matter care. Something like that. I'm getting that one wrong. But basically, like only the people that really matter are going to give you the freedom and the space to make a mistake. The people that don't matter, who cares what they say? Right? And it's a tough thing. Like, I am inherently sensitive to other people's opinions of me. And for me, it goes one of two ways. It's either I allow it to affect me, or I have like a big fuck you middle finger attitude to the world. Neither of which is useful. Right? But at least one is more extroverted than the other. Like saying fuck you, I don't care to the world and doing it anyway is like a mental strategy to hide the fear. But guess what? It creates momentum. It gets you going. It's extroverted rather than, oh no, they're not going to like what I say. They're not going to like what I do. And you hide from them and you do nothing. You also got to recognize that the world is your mirror and that people are going to respond to you generally based on how you feel about yourself. So if you just go out there and you straight up own your failures, own your weaknesses, and just put it all on display, people are that much more forgiving. People are unforgiving to people who try to pretend like they're perfect. We're much more unforgiving to people who position or posture like they've got it all together. But if you come out straight away and you're just like, hey, look, guys, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now, but I'm going to give this a shot. This is my first rodeo. Let's go. People are like, hey, no problem. That's all. That's cool. It also gives other people permission to make a mistake. When you show up and you're like, hey, I don't know how this is going to go. I'm probably going to make a mistake. Let's go. People they're kind of relieved because they're like, this guy's not perfect. And it kind of like, they're kind of like thinking to themselves, whoa, good, because I'm not perfect either. And they might not verbalize it, but you give them the courage to be themselves by you being yourselves, warts and all, imperfect and all. So my man, my encouragement is to do what you got to do, bad in the beginning. It really doesn't matter, dude. Just do it. Just get it going. Create that momentum. And be completely transparent about the fact that you don't know what you're doing. It's your first time doing it. Like, even if it's like you're afraid to put yourself online because you know that like your friends or your family is watching, just say that straight up. Hey guys, my first time making a YouTube video. I know my friends and family are watching. I'm nervous as fuck and I know I'm gonna screw up, but guess what, dudes? I don't care. Here we go, right? They're gonna be like, wow, he called us out. And like when you bring shit to the light, when you cast light on the shadows, like people are sort of relieved. Like they're kind of relaxed. They're like, No pressure. Like they would put pressure on you because they put pressure on themselves. But because you've relieved the pressure from yourself, you help make people more comfortable because they relieve the pressure from themselves. Screw up. Screw up and be completely transparent and honest about it. And you will feel better and everybody will feel better about you, and you have nothing left to do but to keep trying, dude. And you'll get there eventually, and it's going to be amazing. Done.